How's it going, friends, comrades? Dave. I'm the average fat guy, you're whoever you are, and this is the one about the 27 Club. So picture this, a dark bar, a guitar's final note trailing off, and a singer collapsing to the stage with a thud. It's a bit dramatic, I guess, but not too far from the truth with some of these folks. We're delving into an elite club. You may have heard of some of its members: Robert Johnson, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix. They're all members of the 27 Club. So this got me wondering, is it a curse? Bad life choices? My luck is probably going to be a bit of both. I'll make you a deal. If you'll stick with me for the next 10 minutes or so, we'll check it out and see if we can come to any kind of conclusion. So without further ado, let's check out a story that's crazier than my last fad diet. Okay, so welcome to the channel. I'm going to kind of look into stories that are creepier than your uncle's basement, I guess. If you're new here, subscribe. I'm kicking off this series of unfortunate events today with the 27 Club, so you're getting in on the ground floor or something. So this mystery is this curious mix of rock stars and blues gods who all punched their ticket at 27. I got stuck on this story back in college when I wrote a paper on Robert Johnson. Only paper I ever did better than a C on in that class, so I figured it'd be a good place to start. So this video is the overview. The who, what, and why, if you will. We're going to do a deep dive on some of the more interesting cases within the 27 Club as time goes on. There's a lot to unpack with some of these legends. Tragedy, a touch of what the hell, and I hope a whole bunch of fun. So I guess grab a snack and let's get into it. I'd grab my own snack, but let's face it, me eating on camera would get me a content strike and likely violate several international statutes. Let's have a look at the weirder side of music history, shall we? So exactly what is the 27 Club? Well, it ain't a VIP list I'm on. Ain't nobody opening a velvet rope for this gut. This is more of a pattern some people noticed. So some of the greatest musicians to ever live, icons of the industry, lived fast, died young, and left good-looking corpses, all at the age of 27. This kind of stuck with some people. A lot of folks started to look at it and think that this was more than just a weird coincidence, and this started getting loud around the 60s or 70s when Jimi Hendrix, Janis, Joplin, and Jim Morrison all punched their tickets within a couple of years of one another. And with a little more digging, you can add Robert Johnson to the list in 1938. And he died under his own mysterious circumstances, maybe even more mysterious circumstances than the likes of Kurt Cobain. Then you got Amy Winehouse in 2011. I mean, the list goes on. It spans decades. None of these cats went particularly easy either. Poisonings, murders, ODs, nobody went easy. People whisper, is it a curse? Is it the price of genius? I'm starting to wonder if these cats just partied harder than I do at the all-you-can-eat. Statisticians call it coincidence. 27 is, after all, a very risky age for wild living. But then again, I almost flunked statistics, so I don't put much faith in those guys. I'm only joking, of course. I believe statisticians, but this is just a little more than statistics for me. 27 being a risky age, well, that's for sure. I assume I did a lot of partying around then. I say I assume because I don't remember any of it. And thankfully, I'm old enough that photographic evidence is very, very scarce on the topic. But line the names up. It ain't like these are just a bunch of randos that partied too hard. Like I said, I partied hard in the 70s. I partied hard when I was 27. It wasn't the 70s. I ain't that old. Calm down. It's just a little bit of gray. When you dig into it, it becomes less of a math problem and a whole lot more WTF. I mean, these people were legends in their own time, most of them. They rewrote music on a fundamental level. So, to me, it's just a bit more than a math equation. Let's check out some of this ill-fated crew, shall we? First, there's Robert Johnson, arguably one of the greatest bluesmen to ever live. Supposedly, he sold his soul to the devil at a crossroads. And with songs like Hellhound on My Trail, it ain't hard to believe that he might have knew a thing or two about a thing or two. Obviously, he died at 27 or we wouldn't be talking about him, right? I've got a whole video coming on Johnson. I can't let that shiny degree go to waste, now can I? Then in 1969, Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones dies in his pool at 27. A year later, Jimi Hendrix dies after some pills and wine. Now, bear in mind, this cat's not exactly some sort of, what did I just do with my hands? What exactly was that? I'm sorry. Bearing in mind, this dude is not just some sort of casual drug user. I mean, this is Jimi Hendrix. The dude kept LSD in his headband. With the sound of Jimmy's last lick still ringing, Janis Joplin ODs on heroin just a couple of weeks later. Again, not a casual drug user, but still manages to OD at 27 on heroin, her preferred drug. She hadn't just jumped into it at this time. 71, Jim Morrison bites it in Paris. Was it the drugs, the booze? The only thing that we know for sure is that the Lizard King is dead. Long live the Lizard King. Fast forward to 1994, this one hits particularly hard for me. I remember Kurt Loder telling me about this on MTV News. Kurt Cobain shoots himself. Yeah, if you believe in fairy tales, I guess. Then in 2011, Amy Winehouse loses her soul to alcohol. The list goes on and on. There's Christine Paff from Hole. Hey, would you look at there? There's a weird 27 Club coincidence within a weird coincidence. There's a connection there. Hole, Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain. Now that just got odd. We'll have to look into that. Then you got Ron Pigpen Kiernan of the Dead, punched out at 27, same as everybody else. I'm one to chalk this up to bad luck, but hell, if it weren't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all, and I'm still doing all right. So exactly why 27? A lot of people figure it's rock and roll math. Fame means money. Money means drugs. Add those three things together, you get an early checkout time, and I ain't talking about from the hotel. Makes perfect sense to me. Hell, I'd have checked out at 25 if I'd have partied that hard. But then you got guys like Keith Richards and Ozzy Osbourne who appear to be living forever. They sort of throw a whole wrench into the whole money, fame, drugs thing, huh? Other people go full-on flashlight under the chin, campfire story spooky with curses and devil's deals. Well, that one's probably on Robert Johnson, to be fair. I even found a theory by some astrology nerds about a cosmic midlife crisis and Saturn's return that happens somewhere between 27 and 29 for some folks. Hell, I barely survived my 20s without the planets getting involved, so I could see that, I guess. As for me, I'm just here for the show, man. I like the question way more than I like the answer. I don't think I realized it then, but now, looking back on it, when I was writing the Johnson paper in college, it seemed to me like he didn't really live. He kind of burned through life. And if that's the case for all of these people, that could explain the 27 Club in a nutshell. I'll give you an example of how it seems like they burn through life. Jimi Hendrix made guitars make noises that were unholy and holy all at the same time. Kurt Cobain was the voice of a generation's teen angst. Hell, he's the voice of every generation since teen angst. Amy Winehouse was with me for that shitty breakup in 2008. Actually, I don't think I'm over that yet. I think I might still be eating my feelings on that one. Maybe all that genius burns a person out. Perhaps a body can't hold that big of a soul for very long. I have no idea. What do you think? Is it a curse? Is it the numbers screwing with us? Is it just me overthinking this like I did at my last gym membership sign up? What the fuck? Unlike Planet Fitness or whatever the hell that was, I intend to revisit this subject, starting with Robert Johnson. Maybe I'll figure out something nobody else has. Or maybe I'll just feed my delusions of grandeur. Either way, it's going to be fun. So the 27 Club isn't just some mystery for some fat boy to run on about. This story's got legs. It's got legs not just because of the way they died, which is strange in and of itself. It's got legs because these artists were so much to so many. Like I said earlier, Amy Winehouse was there with me through that shitty breakup, and Kurt Cobain sang mine and everybody else's angst to this point. So that's why their catalogs were cut very short. We didn't have enough time with them. It was all just so sudden, and they were such a big part of our lives. Like, for example, me with Kurt Cobain, his music was such a big part of my life, even in 1994. I felt like I'd lost a really good friend. That was probably my first brush with, death on close to a personal level anyway. So you're probably asking yourself, why is this fat moron doing all this? Well, mostly because I'm a fat moron. No, the legend kind of stuck with me since the Robert Johnson paper. Everybody's heard of the 27 Club, and more people have done videos about it, but I haven't. So I figured I'd throw my hat in the ring and give you my take. Stick with me. We'll figure it out, or at least we'll try. For me, and probably you too if you've stuck around this long, it boils down to this. The 27 Club is music's weirdest exit ramp. Is it a coincidence? Is it a curse? How about you tell me in the comments? Clearly, I am a sucker for a good conspiracy theory, so if you have one of those, even if it's a bad one, I'd love to hear it, and maybe we could check it out in a video in the future. So if you didn't find this video as boring as that salad my wife thinks I ate for dinner, how about dropping me a like, subscribe, maybe send this video to a buddy that might find it weird, or send this to a buddy that might find it irritating. I like to irritate people. Any kind of engagement, whether you love me or hate me, it keeps me rolling. So I'd love to hear your comments, suggestions. Like I said, I'm just getting started out, so suggestions would be welcome. Subscribe, hit the bell. You've been on YouTube before. You know all this stuff. I'm doing Robert Johnson next. If you got any interest in that, come back, check it out. And if you've got a favorite member of the 27 Club that you'd like me to do a video on, I'm all ears. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope I see you on the next one. I hope I see you at the crossroads.